For the first time in its history, the Breeders' Cup World Championships returns to the same site in back-to-back years. Welcome to the Breeders' Cup Works from Oak Tree at Santa Anita. The horse on everyone's radar is the undefeated Zenyatta. We'll follow her every move and track her connections as they decide where she'll run on Breeders' Cup weekend. We'll have key works from coast to coast, including Ventura's Drill at Hollywood Park. And the backstretch buzz is back with our colony of equine experts. Everything you need to make an informed decision is next on The Works. It's days like today when you understand why the Breeders' Cup World Championships has made Oak Tree at Santa Anita the back-to-back location for these fantastic two championship days of racing. Welcome to Arcadia, California, and the set of The Works Breeders' Cup 2009. America's Horse Racing Network, TVG, has always had as its staple in programming The Works, and you are going to get all the information you need to get to tvg.com and play the two championship days of racing, Friday and Saturday. Friday is dedicated to ladies and the Ladies Classic. Last year, the inaugural running of this day, it was a huge success. The races you can expect on this day, culminating with the Ladies Classic, the Marathon, the Juvenile Fillies Turf, the Grey Goose Juvenile Fillies, the Emirates Airline Filly and Mare Turf, and the Sentinel Jet Filly and Mare Sprint. Then on Saturday, with the biggest race being the Classic itself, the races many will anticipate: the Juvenile Turf, the Turf Sprint, which will have one of the largest fields, the Sentinel Jet Cup Sprint, and the Grey Goose Juvenile Fillies. And very proud to now have TVG as the sponsor of the Dirt Mile. Joining me here on the set, as they have many times before for The Works, I want to welcome in my colleague Simon Bray and one of the best trainers anywhere in America, Tom Amoss. Simon, who are you most looking forward to seeing on today's show? I'm looking forward to a filly that comes in from England. She's had one start in North America. That was up in Canada, finishing second in the E.P. Taylor. Trained by a man that won inaugural Breeders' Cup mile with Royal Heroine, and last year 2 winners on the card. That's Rainbow View, trained by John Garston. He's very, very good at shipping horses around the world. This is a champion 2-year-old filly from last year, and I think she can get back into the winner's circle. I'm excited to see her work out over this pro ride surface. Tom, when we talk about 3-year-old fillies, Rachel Alexander is the only name that comes to mind, but there's a pretty good other 3-year-old filly out there.
Well, Todd, you're talking about Careless Jewel. Careless Jewel, the dominant winner of the Alabama, not without some problems in that race, had trouble in the first turn, and then she went to Philadelphia and won another graded stake there, has won her last 5 in a row. She'll get one shot over the pro ride in practice before the real thing. They're going to work her one time, so I want to see that work, see how she handles the pro ride, and whether she can keep that 5-race winning streak going.
We're just part of the team for The Works Breeders' Cup 2009, and we're here in Arcadia, California. Another member of our team is in the TVG studios in Los Angeles, Christina Olivares, with our news of the day.
Todd, thank you very much. Tough to believe that we're already just 1 week out from championship weekend. And in these next 7 or 8 days, we have a lot of questions to answer. We're getting closer to some of those answers right here in your news of the day. The biggest question for Breeders' Cup weekend that is still unanswered is which race Zenyatta will run in. Will she attempt to repeat in the Ladies Classic or take on the boys in the Classic on Saturday?
Obviously, that's going to be a decision that ultimately Mr. Moss and Mrs. Moss will make. I think, you know, we're just seeing how she does, and she'll help us make up our minds about that.
Trainer Barry Abrams told the media last week that he intended on running Lethal Heat in both the Ladies Classic on Friday and the Turf Sprint on Saturday. He did, however, say that he wanted to avoid Zenyatta. With Zenyatta leaning towards the Classic versus males, Lethal Heat will most likely only run once.
Right now the plan is just to run on Friday, and you know, I'd like to have a backup plan in case something happens Friday, and so that's why I'm going to enter her in both races and see what happens.
When it comes to the Turf Sprint, experience on the downhill course is key. Trainer Linda Rice sent 4-year-old filly Canadian Ballet down the hill on Thursday morning for her first look at Oak Tree's notorious crossover. A few jumps and a wide-eyed look later, it was all in a day's work. Filly and Mare Turf contender Rainbow View is the first European horse on the grounds. Having competed and finishing second in the E.P. Taylor last out at Woodbine, she was able to continue training regularly upon arrival, as there are no restrictions for horses coming to the U.S. from Canada. Her stablemates and a host of others coming directly from Europe, however, will have to clear quarantine before hitting the track. Juvenile filly Bickersons worked a speedy half-mile this morning. Trainer Kelly Breen thinks the extra time here at Oaktree will allow her to improve upon her third-place finish in the Oakley.
She ran last time. She flew in the night before, and I can tell you I flew in last night. I'm a little jet lagged myself. So I think that we have a lot of things going for us. Great finish in a workout, time over the track, a couple of good workouts over here. All systems are go.
Bickersons isn't the only juvenile Breen spent some time training this morning.
Mouse killer in the making right here.
Speaking of juveniles, a little extra work at the gate can never hurt, especially for a horse that has broken slow twice and even threw the gate at the start. Pulsion seems to have figured it out now. The trip out west doesn't seem to have taken anything out of Godolphin's Girolamo. He continues to be one of the best-looking horses on the grounds, floating effortlessly over the pro ride. And it will feel a little more like Breeders' Cup tomorrow as the official saddle towels and hats were passed out today. Trainers, owners, and exercise riders can now proudly display the names of their contenders. And guys, a few of those hats and saddle towels sadly will go unused. Some up-to-the-minute news for you. 3 defections from the Breeders' Cup now. Sweet Hearth, scoped badly, will not run. Neither will Yankee Ingenuity, scheduled to be the only shipper from Hawthorne, and a supplemental horse as well. And Oasis Dancer, who is on the also eligible list for the juvenile turf. Since he most likely won't get into the field, they didn't think it prudent to send him all the way out from Europe. So 3 last-minute defections here from the newsroom. Guys?
Christina, thank you. We'll be returning to the TVG studios. Frank Lyons will be joining us a little bit later in the show, but here are the works that will be bringing you on this edition. Not just works that happened this morning, but over the course of the last week, significant works within various divisions. A lot of talk about Zenyatta and what is forthcoming for her, where she'll end up. You're going to see her work just a week ago. That was back at Hollywood Park. Careless Jewel, as we talked about, Life is Sweet, Rainbow View, Ventura, a lot of big horses to be seen, including Desert Code trying to defend his title in the Breeders' Cup Turf Sprint. Here are the pre-entries for the Classic, with Zenyatta getting the most attention of these pre-entries.
There's no question that drawn on the outside. These, of course, are in alphabetical order. Entries will be taken early next week, and John Sheriff's all eyes will be on him and her when she works tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. at Hollywood Park. We'll get more into that later. Rip Van Winkle is coming from Aidan O'Brien, looking to give him his first win in the Breeders' Club Classic.
Today at Hollywood Park, Zenyatta was out for a gallop. Her work will be tomorrow on Saturday. TVG will show it live as it takes place, but we were also there this morning for her going around the track.
Yeah, this is exactly what you want to see a day before a work or even a day after a work. She looks great there. Nothing too remarkable. She's a big filly. John takes her out when the track is quiet. You can see at Hollywood Park. I'm very happy with what I see, Tom.
I am as well. You know, you see those legs moving well. She's got a good stride, ears forward, taking a good hold of the reins. Just what you want for a gallop.
While we have that gallop this morning for Zenyatta, we will have her work live. You're going to be on site at Hollywood Park, right?
That's right. 8 a.m. tomorrow. I'll be at Hollywood Park. Well, that work will be coming within the 8 o'clock hour, so stay tuned to TVG.
Let's get back into our discussion of the works for the Breeders' Cup 2009. And the big news tomorrow, because we've been led to believe whatever Zenyatta does in the way of a work tomorrow will tell us where she's going next. Ladies Classic, Breeders' Cup Classic.
Yeah, this camp, by definition, are not going to come out and give you a plan 3 weeks ahead of time. They're going to take everything in a methodical fashion, work by work, gallop by gallop, and that's what we're waiting for tomorrow, 8 o'clock at Hollywood Park. I will be there to monitor the work, and hopefully we can get some sort of reaction from John Sheriffs as to what his plan is with Zenyatta.
Okay, so while she has a work forthcoming, let's go back a week ago at Hollywood Park. Mike Smith aboard, going 6 furlongs. Here's Zenyatta.
Yeah, she's going to work with 2 stablemates here. The first one is Green Cat, and then Sabina Fay, an 0-for-2 maiden 3-year-old filly, is going to jump in as well. And Zenyatta, Mike Smith up. He's going to sit behind 2 workmates, as he always does, Tom. Always likes to have a target for Zenyatta. And I like the way she's moving. She's in about 2nd gear right now, just loping along down the backside.
In 2nd gear is a lot of horses' 4th gears for Zenyatta, because she's got a huge stride, you guys, and you're going to get a good look at that down the stretch. The interesting thing about this work, this is her first work since her last race, Lady's Secret, and it's a 6-furlong work in company. Now, Sheriff said that, you know, ordinarily he wouldn't give this kind of work to a horse unless he was thinking about running in the Classic. He thinks she might need something big to run in that race, so I think this is an indication that she will indeed run in the Classic.